we just killed Broodtwister, right? We spent 2 nights in the beginning when we were just starting to prog trying to set up weak auras. And
Yep.
for those of you who don't know how the fight works on Mythic, so there's these eggs that you need to break, and there's 4 eggs, and 8 people get marked. So you have to have exactly 2 people on each of the 4 eggs. And that is not something that you can just go and do without a weak aura, right? It is impossible. Like, I'm betting as much money as you want that there's nobody who can do this fight on Mythic without a weak aura. But also at the same time, the weak auras are not something, it's not your friendly neighborhood weak aura, right? It's a very complicated weak aura that needs to do a whole bunch of assignments, etc. Then there's also the worms that you need to interrupt, and there's a certain order, and that's another weak aura, etc. So we ended up, I think there's like a package from Liquid that I think you actually have to buy, right? So we ended up getting this. Everybody needs to set it up in a specific way, because it might be you who gets marked by a private aura, then you need to mark something, so everybody in the raid needs to have an assist so the weak aura works, and everybody needs to have the latest version. And after you do all of that, it turns out that your big wigs or your DBM is also marking something, and it's overriding the weak aura. And it's a nightmare, man. It's a nightmare. So we spent 2 nights just trying to get the weak auras working the same way for everyone, right?
Yep.
And then on the next day, somebody could not come, so we need to pull one person who was not there in the previous night, and now we have to set it for them, because if it's not working for one person, then everybody gets screwed because the marks are wrong, right? So that was such a huge nightmare. And then we had one person say, man, why is this fight designed like this? Like, why do we have to do this? What if, because you have 4 eggs and 8 people, right? What if when the egg pops, it gets a certain color, let's say orange, and then there's 2 people who get orange circle around them, and there's 2 people with blue circle. You wouldn't need a weak aura for that, You can just go and play.
Go to blue.
Yeah. So I don't know how that experience was for you, but for me, that was one of the worst experiences I ever had in reading in general. Like, it took like half of the prog of this boss was not progging the boss. We were progging the weak auras and the add-ons, etc.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we had one full night of that, and a lot of angry. Our raid leader Dylan, very angry with people not keeping the weak auras up to date, not following the instructions, and and he posts everything in a very organized manner, and people still don't do it, and so now you gotta kind of handhold and walk everybody through it, and still find issues. So yeah, we went through the same thing. It was one full night of that, and then a couple little weeks after, and then it was kind of cruising after that. But to your point, I think that's a little bit too much. Maybe again for that that top tier, that's fine because they'll figure it out. But coming back down to earth, I think that's you want to play the game, right? We got other stuff going on in our real lives. We just want to log in and kill dragons. And when you have to spend time tweaking your settings, that's not what we want to do, and that's unfortunate. And so that does need to change. That design is severely flawed.
And we were literally like standing there for an hour and a half, not pulling the boss. You're just staring at the screen and waiting for somebody to click a button somewhere. It was that bad. And even the worst part is like, because I was initially healing on this fight, so I had everything set up, etc. And then at some point they were like, yeah, let's try one healer less, and we'll have we switch to DPS. And I'm like, hey, okay, I'll DPS. I switched to DPS, everything is set up right. I switched to DPS, and all of a sudden the marks stopped working. Like it messed up, and I figure out it's me, and I'm like, wait, what? I don't know why it happened, but I had the big wigs and the DBM stuff turned off, so it doesn't override the weak auras. When I switched my spec to DPS, it reset the DBM. Or I don't know if it's because I logged off or something. I'm not sure, but then I had to go and do everything again. But we have to figure out it's me, because I was sure everything is correct on my end. And that was, as I said, that was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. Not to mention that when all the small ads spawn, there was like so much lag that I would freeze out, and I was hoping that everything is going to catch up eventually so I can continue playing, which just added to this negative experience.